one of the things that struck me guiding through a piece of legislation in Parliament around defending free speech in the universities was how few people that actually took. There were really only about 24 of us who designed that law, who lobbied for it, campaigned for it, helped politicians get it through. And it reminded me that, often you don't need a mass movement to change the dial. Often you need, an SAS, a small, highly committed battalion of people who are willing to put their heads above the parapet, provide a model to other people. And that's what I would argue radical progressives have done very effectively, is they have been a very committed, disciplined activist minority who moderate liberals have been very scared of taking on. So the moderates tend to stay quiet, fearing the consequence of what might happen if they speak out. And I think conservatives have really not done a great job of learning the lessons of that, which is we need a new counter elite. We need to build a new counter elite that is present in the institutions, that is intellectually anchored, that has a strong sense of history and philosophy, and is action oriented, knows how to get things done. And I think you can see those people emerging on the international stage. You can see, for example, in America, how one or two activists have completely changed the debate on education, have completely changed the debate on opposing CRT. But I think you can see that also in other areas, Brexit, the way in which, one person in the form of Nigel Farage essentially changed that political debate during the 2000s. You can see it in parts of Europe too. So I think really it is about, the question is, how can you promote a counter elite and keep them organized? And also, by the way, John, keep them funded. I mean, I'm often approached by philanthropists and donors who say, look, I'm creating this new network, I'm building this new movement. And I always say to them, there are people out there already doing lots of important work, but they need funding, they need support, they need financial insulation. I remember Jordan Peterson making this point at an event in London and saying that you can't even begin to take on the culture unless you're financially insulated, because the first thing they'll go for is your livelihood. The first thing they'll go for is your career and your profession. So giving people a sense of financial insulation and security, and giving them a sense of unity and organization, and accepting that we might not need a mass movement, but we might need a vanguard, and finding that and promoting it, I think is really important.